Hey everybody, this is my 125 gallon tank. Well, it's half of my 125 gallon tank. Most of the fish are down at this end of the tank because they think dinner time is coming. I do have some small chocolate zebra plecos on the bottom, and here comes our snakeskin gourami in from the right hand side. So tonight we're just going to do some simple tank maintenance in here. I'm probably not going to mess with the filter. I really don't have time. It's already getting kind of late in the day. I'm just going to stick a hose in there and drain some of the water out of it. And while that's happening, I'm going to get in the tank and get the glass wiped down. You can probably tell the glass has got a lot of grunge growing on it. So I'll get the glass wiped down. I will also get in there and remove any additional plant growth. I'll probably get in there and thin out some of that floating water sprite right there. I don't know, but the main goal is going to be just to simply do a quick water change. I feel like I kind of need to get one done on this tank. It's been a little while since I've done one. I'm not going to mess with the filter. Don't know if I've mentioned that yet or not. But again, just going to do a simple water change. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a good solid look at what the tank looks like before the water change. And then we'll talk much more about it after we can actually see into the tank. So I'll step back as best I can, get the whole tank into view. And we're going to call that your before. Alright, and there's your after. So I wound up doing more with the plants than I anticipated once I got in there and really started rooting through them. Keep in mind, I do sell my plants. I'll put my email down below in the description if you're interested. I got lots of Java fern out of there tonight, the regular type of Java fern, although I do have a lot of the Java Windelov too. The difference being the Windelov is the stuff you see in the very middle. It gets that sort of fingery edges to it. It's kind of interesting looking, but I've got a lot of that, and I just pulled a lot of Java fern out of there. What it wound up being was a lot of new growth. You can see how nice and open all of this looks. There were huge clumps growing up in the middle of that actually turned out to be whole entire new plants. So I pulled, I don't know, maybe a dozen plants out of various clumps of the Java in here. I did not remove any of the water sprite, or at least no significant amount. A few little tiny pieces got stuck to various things that were coming out of the tank, but it wasn't like I actually got in there and groomed the Java fern at all. I did wipe down the glass, but that's, pretty self-explanatory. The plants were the most significant thing. So this Java fern got really thinned out quite a bit. I had another type of Java fern that was growing down in here, and it had a bunch of babies growing off of it, and it's always been covered with like growth. So I pulled that out all together, and I put that in my bucket in the other room for grow out. It's going in there with all the other stuff I pulled out of this tank. I'm going to treat it with the ChemiClean, and then it will be available for sale within the next couple of days. So I pulled that out completely. I did pull some Java fern out of right here. And this end, it's kind of hard to see because of where my waterfall tank is positioned. It's hard for me to get in a good position to show you what I really did. But I really got in there and opened that up a lot. I pulled a whole entire piece of Java fern out of here, and I pulled some Java out of here. You can see this Anubias. There's a great big Anubias plant in here. You see those big Anubias leaves? That was able to give me... Let's bend down here and pick that up. I was able to break off several chunks of Anubias, so those are some fairly large rhizomes and large pieces of Anubias. Plus, again, I've got a boatload of the Java fern that I pulled out of there. So, all in all, I actually pulled a lot of plants out. I thought about removing some. Look, see, there's a floating little cluster of baby Java fern right there that I never pulled out, so I'll have to get in and grab that. I thought about trimming up some of the lotus in there, but decided against it since I'd already done enough. The filter was starting to sputter. I left it running while I was doing this, and when the water gets low enough, the surface skimmer starts sucking air and the filter starts sputtering. So when we got down to that point, I went ahead and reversed the water flow and started filling it back up. But I really like the way that's nice and open now. The rainbow fish like to come down here and swim around in the plants, and it makes it really difficult to see them. So now that I've got this sort of cavity through there, I can not only see them in the back, but I can see them when they get up near the plants or in the plants. And there we go. I mean, I did a water change 15 minutes ago, and we've already got spawning behavior going on in the back there. So these rainbow fish are really fantastic. I just can't wait till these Millennium albinos come into their own. These really bright ones right here are the males, and then the paler yellow ones down here, the sort of orangey yellow ones, are the females. So there's my third male. I've got 3 of the males and 4 of the females. And then these larger ones are Marcy rainbow fish. I don't recommend them. They're a hybrid. I'd much rather see people just go and buy a regular old rainbow fish. There's plenty of beautiful ones out there. You don't need to buy the hybridized kind and get the gene pools all boogered up. But they are hybridized out of the Parkinson's or Parkinsoni, however you pronounce that. So if you are interested in my bigger rainbow fish and you like these, look up a Parkinson's rainbow fish. You're going to find something very similar to that. So that's about it. That's all I can think of. All I did was all the plant work. I wiped down the glass both inside and out. I used a little bit of Windex to clean the glass on the front. I did check the nitrates while I was in there. We came out about where I was expecting. It's hard to see in this kind of light. It makes it look a lot redder than it really is. But that is right on the cusp of being red. I still put that at the top end of orange. So it's less than I was expecting. I'm used to doing, water changes and just seeing red vials. So maybe over the years I've gotten a little more skimpy about how much I feed the fish, and maybe that's having an impact or something. Possibly the fact that my very large catfish in this tank is no longer with us. Maybe the bio load in here has been reduced enough that I'm not really getting the nitrate buildup like I used to. I don't know, but I was a little surprised the nitrates were that low. On a final note, I'm just kind of noticing now as I'm looking over here, not long after my catfish died, I started to notice I was getting a lot of really heavy algal growth, and it was the hair algae. It was that really nasty stuff. And now that I'm looking in there, it's kind of gone. I don't see a whole lot of it. I mean, it's still in there, but it's not like it was. It's not growing on everything and flowing in the tank. It was really starting to look like it was going to be my next major issue I was going to have to start focusing on, and now it just seems to have gone away. So I find a lot of things in the aquarium hobby just sort themselves out if you leave well enough alone. I had an issue in my tank upstairs in my office that I just did absolutely nothing about, and it just went away. And I got about 100 different suggestions of everything I could do, including stripping the entire tank down and sterilizing everything. And my option of doing nothing at all actually worked just fine, and everything turned out okay. So maybe just taking it easy on how much I feed in here, and keeping on top of the water changes and kind of maintaining steady as we go, will be okay. So there you go, everybody. It's getting late in the evening. I got to get this video uploaded, and I got to get to feeding everybody and everything else I got to get done this evening. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget to check my email down below if you're interested in the plants. And then don't forget, of course, this is my 125. So thanks again. I'll see you real soon in the next one.